Hey there, kids. It is Mr. King, and you might recognize this as my hand right here. This project I like to, lovingly refer to as radioactive hand because it kind of looks like a cool X-ray radioactivity kind of thing going on here with all these echoed lines going over and over from a hand tracing. So why the hand tracing? Well, because doing a hand tracing is a really easy way to get started, and we want to make the beginning of a project easy for you. The other thing is this is a form of art we refer to as op art, which is short for optical art. That means that it's art that plays with your eyes. It's just meant to be fun to look at. There's not a deeper meaning behind it. This isn't about, the human hand in some deeper way. It's just a really cool thing to look at, and I think a lot of fun. So here's how it starts and here's how it goes. I like to do a tape job on the paper right here just to give it a nice little border. And then also to keep your paper from shifting on you at all, because for this project it's important your paper does not slide around. So we're going to tape it down. You don't need to tape the entire border like this. I just do because I really like how this nice clean white border looks on the edge. But if you want to just put a little tape at the top and bottom, if you're doing this at home, then that's a great option. Just a little bit goes a long way. Anyways, here's how we start, and here are the supplies you are going to need. You're going to need a number 2 pencil and markers, and that's really it outside of a piece of paper. Now I'm using a half sheet of 8.5 by 11 cut down to 5.5 by 8.5. So this is going to be nice and manageable in terms of how long it'll take me. But if you want to go a little larger, it gives you more room to spread your fingers out. As you can tell with my hand being the size that it is, I can't really spread my hand out all the way. I have to relax it so it fits on the paper. And so that's what I'll tell you to do too. If you have a larger hand, relax it so it fits on. If you've got a bigger or a smaller hand, you can probably spread out your fingers a little more. The one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to have your hand with all your fingers together like this, otherwise it just looks like a big mitt that you're going to draw. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our fingers relax so that they're spread out a little bit, but that they're still fitting on the paper. Also put your finger pretty close to the top up here, okay? So the other thing I want to point out to you is that as you're doing your tracing, you need to make sure your pencil stays straight up and down. I actually really recommend you hold your pencil near the back. It feels weird, but it's going to help you keep your pencil more straight up and down. If you tilt the pencil in, you get what I like to call the skeleton hand, because you're going to put your pencil underneath your hand and draw further in than you mean to from either side. If you tilt out, you get what I refer to as the Mickey Mouse hand, or sausage fingers, which means that you're just going to end up making your line a lot wider than it needs to be. So I'm going to hold near the back. I'm going to start at the edge of my tape all the way at the bottom here. Make sure you go all the way off the page to start. And I'm really slowly just going to try to keep my pencil straight up and down, and I'm going to trace around. Another thing to point out is it is not important to press down hard. You can press down very lightly to get your pencil marks here, because all you need to do is to be able to follow these lines. You don't really need to have them be dark enough to see permanently. So don't press down super hard, because then it's hard to erase and it's really tough to cover up with the marker. So you can barely see it there, but I think I got a pretty good tracing. It's difficult to see on camera. I get that. Let me just do a quick tilt job here so you can see. Can we get that on camera? Yeah, you can see the lines. They're very thin, but that is because I pressed down lightly like I meant to. So I'm going to go over this with marker now, and the one thing I want to point out too is if you press down lightly, it's going to be really easy to erase if you have a little bump you made by accident, and that's no big deal at all. Okay, so now we're going to choose our colors. For my first piece, I went with mainly cool colors, the yellow being the only exception, and because it's paired up with cool colors, it reads as pretty cool too. So I'd say this is a very cool color piece that I did here. I could choose to switch over to a warm color piece and maybe include purple if I wanted to kind of bring that to the warmer side. Or I can just do the whole rainbow. For this one, I'm just going to go with the full rainbow. So anyways, I'm going to choose a color to start with. I like to start with a dark color. I will start with my deep blue, and I'm going to use just the tip of my chisel tip here to make a nice kind of medium bold line. I'm going to follow the hand. Now the key for this part, although you see me drawing it pretty fast, that's because I have a lot of practice. I would suggest, and this is really the key to making it look good, is go slow. Even with me having lots of practice, I'm not going that fast. I'm going quick enough that I would recommend you guys go a little slower, but I don't think anybody would say this is fast. So you're just going to carefully trace over your pencil. And then once you've done that, you're going to thicken the line a little bit more. Okay, so you're going to go over it a couple of times until it's as thick as you want it to be. If you want to do this project out of all really thin lines, you can, but I prefer to have the lines to be a little bit wider so that it doesn't take me forever to get this done. Okay? And here's the thing, if you notice right here between the fingers, if my lines bump into each other here, that's fine. They can literally cover each other up and be totally okay. Alright, so this is the part of the video, or I'm going to speed things up, and I'll catch you guys on the other side of the work here so that you can see the finished product. And we can talk just a little bit more about what to do with certain situations. Okay? So enjoy, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, guys, so this is it. This is all set up and done. I'll show you once I peel away the tape how good it looks. But the thing about this, I didn't get a chance to really tell you everything. I just kind of wanted to show you is that yes, we were going to do the outline, but we were also going to do the inner line. So all of the lines on the inside of the hand too, and that helps make that op art piece really feel complete. I also did, if you noticed, once I started getting going with doing the larger lines, I used the broad side of the chisel tip. That just makes it a lot quicker for me. But if you want to use the fine line side, either way is totally okay. The other thing is, if you end up with little white gaps between, you can go back in with a marker, or you can switch over to something like a colored pencil or a crayon and fill in those white gaps between. But you really don't want to have any of the white paper visible when you're done. It's kind of the point to fill this paper completely up with some sort of medium. So anyways, when you get done and you're ready to peel away the tape, there is a warning about this. If you pull your tape straight up, it will likely rip the paper and onto your artwork. If you want to avoid that happening, if you're in the classroom, you could just ask for my help and I'll help you do it. I don't mind peeling tape at all. But if you're going to do it yourself, there's the three little kind of, my mantra for this, which is low, slow, and away. Meaning that you pull your tape from a low angle, so keep your hand right up against the table as you're peeling it away. You peel it slowly, and you always peel away from your artwork. So you peel the right side to the right, the left side to the left, the bottom side to the bottom there, and the top side up. And if you do that, even if the paper rips, it will rip away from your artwork, and so you won't even really notice any tearing. Even though it might very well be that the tape pulled up a little bit of paper, you won't be able to tell at all. It'll just still look like a nice clean white border. So always pull low, slow, and away. If you do that, you'll be left with this gorgeous white border, and having a piece of art that has the whole paper colored, it will make that white border look exceptionally nice. It'll really make the artwork, the colors pop out and feel much more vibrant and make the work look very professional and clean. At least in my own opinion, I really love how those white borders look. You can see the white border going around looks really sharp. So anyways, that's it. Apologize that the camera does not quite pick up the colors as vibrant as they are. That's just because this isn't the greatest camera in the world, but I think that still looks pretty nice. You can see my first one here done primarily in cool colors, and then I got a rainbow one here, and maybe I'd do another one in warm colors to kind of balance this out. But I really do think these look really cool. Neat thing about it too is if you want to go even simpler, if you find anything that is a basic shape, even like the tape roll here, you can do the same process using the circle of the tape roll. You do the inside outline and the outside outline, and then you just basically make that target going over and over and over again. Because you make the colored lines so thin, it really will look nice. Again though, just a reminder, if you need to, there's no shame in filling in little gaps of white with a colored pencil, because that just works great. Okay? And then the very last thing, we don't have them on here, but I would definitely reach for either a sharpened pencil or an ultrafine point Sharpie, and you can put your name right there on the bottom right hand corner of that white border, and you will be left with a really beautiful piece of artwork. So, hope you guys like these. I think they're a lot of fun. Obviously, I think they're very cool to look at too. So, yeah, have fun, enjoy. Oh, and one last thing, I know I'm rambling here, but that fast motion thing we did here to speed things up for you in the video, it's going to make this look really quick. It's not. It takes quite a while. This project will take you anywhere between 15 minutes if you're working really fast, or as long as half an hour or more if you're working a little bit on the more careful side. And there's no problem with going slow on this. I strongly encourage you to work slowly and carefully, as what you create in the end will look much more neat, tidy, and what you're really hoping for. Okay? So have an awesome time, make some great art, and enjoy. I will see you guys later. Bye.